Dental practice owners, your practice management software is probably showing you a collection rate that isn't real, and the gap between what it says and what's actually hitting your bank account could be costing you 6 figures a year. Give me 3 minutes and I'll show you why that number is misleading, what's actually happening inside your revenue cycle, and how to find out what your true collection rate really is. And if you want to see what your real number is, drop assessment below and I'll send you a free 5-minute collection gap assessment. My team personally reviews your practice's numbers and gets back to you within 48 hours. Hi, I'm Taylor with Bick Dental Revenue Operations. I've spent over 10 years inside dental billing, first in the office, now managing the full revenue cycle remotely for private practices. The doctors I work with typically recover between $20,000 and $75,000 in the first 90 days alone, just from collecting what they'd already earned and didn't know was just sitting there missing. I recently had a doctor come to me who was convinced his collections were in the low 90s, because that's what his software said. When we pulled the actual numbers, though, his true collection rate was closer to 76%. The difference? Adjustments being coded incorrectly, write-offs that never should have happened, and aging claims that had been quietly expiring for months. His software wasn't wrong, it just wasn't showing him the whole picture. And nobody else was. Most doctors trust their reports because they don't have time to question them. They assume if claims are going out, money is coming in. So they focus on production, patient experience, and growing the practice, while the gaps keep quietly widening in the background. So why isn't this working? Because software reports what it's told. If adjustments are posted wrong, if write-offs aren't being reviewed, if aging isn't being worked, the system reflects what your team inputs, not what your practice has actually earned. And most teams are too busy with everything else to catch it. So I've come up with 3 steps on how to solve this. Step 1, pull your actual collections against your production. Not what your software shows as your collection rate, but real deposited cash against real production over the last 12 months. The difference between those numbers is your true gap. Step 2, audit your write-offs and adjustments from the last 6 months. Look at what codes are being used and whether those write-offs were legitimate or just a way to close an account that no one had time to follow up on. Check to make sure that your adjustments are being allocated correctly to production or collection. Step 3, put someone in charge of the full picture, not just submitting claims, but owning the aging, the denials, the reconciliation, and the reporting. When one person or team owns it from start to finish, the gaps stop hiding. Why does this work? It's because the money is almost always already there. Most practices aren't underproducing. They're under-collecting because no one is watching the whole process at once. When someone does, the numbers come back fast. Drop assessment below and I'll send you a free 5-minute collection gap assessment. You'll see exactly where your practice stands, what's sitting uncollected, and what it would actually mean for your bottom line. My team reviews every single one personally and gets back to you within 48 hours.